guys, have you all seen the Edge of Fate reveal event? Because I have not seen it. I got off work like an hour ago, and I want to take a look at it and see what's going on. So let me maneuver my screen. Okay. No, I started watching it and then I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and share my reaction with you guys because I don't know where we're going from here.
Remember curiosity.
Hold on, let me make sure I got sound. Okay, that will help. All right. Yeah, I haven't seen it. So I'm curious to see what's going on.
What follows light and shadow is silence. That silence breaks. I am summoning you as a new age begins. I see sapient life turn to each other. They remember how to look to the stars. They remember curiosity. They remember how to thrive. But they have forgotten. They forgot we were here long before the Traveler. They forgot that they need us. But they are fated to remember. I will remind them. I'm sure you will. But not through me. Find someone else. My will is my own.
All right, everyone, hello and welcome here to Bungie HQ in beautiful Bellevue, Washington. We have got an amazing stream lined up for you to tell you a little bit about the Edge of Fate and the future of Destiny 2 as well. My name's Andy. I work on the social media team here, but no need to worry. As always, I am joined by some of my amazing colleagues here at Bungie to share some of the finer details of the stuff that we're going to be getting into today. So how about we go ahead and get into it so we can show you what we got. Starting first with this gentleman on my right and to your left is someone that you've probably seen if you've tuned into our streams before or Vidocs, the one and only Mr. Robbie Stevens, Assistant Game Director here at Bungie. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Andy. It's always a pleasure to spend a day with you.
Yeah, it's been a nice time, honestly, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
always.
To that end as well, for anyone that doesn't get to hang out as much as we do, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you do here?
Yeah, sure. So I'm one of the creative and game directors for the game. So that means like I'm a vision holder and I work across the entire Destiny team with people like Allison and Dylan on the couch here to chart a new course for Destiny and a new future for the game, and just incredibly excited to be sharing with everyone today of what we've been up to.
Yeah, can't wait. We've got a big show ahead, so thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course.
And of course, as we move, pardon me, right on down the line, someone who again has also had the good opportunity to join us on these streams as well, and is now firing some finger guns like a pro. Destiny's narrative director, the one and only Allison Lures. Allison,
hello.
how's it going?
It's going so good. I'm here on a couch and I get to yell about Destiny with you. So it's a good day.
Yeah, honestly, I'll take that anytime I can. Well,
Same.
for anyone who also hasn't had a chance to yell on couches about Destiny with us or hasn't joined us in the past, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Allison. I'm the narrative director for Destiny 2, and so that means it's the job of me and my team to make you laugh and make you cry and make you go, whoa, I totally forgot about this thing from 8 years ago. How did they remember? It's because we're good at our jobs.
It's true.
So there you
Yeah.
go.
As someone who gets to sit in on the writers' rooms, I can now doubly confirm that. So thank you for
love
being
having you
here.
there.
So much fun. No, seriously, thank you so much. And of course, as we move right on down the line, the gentleman there at the very end of the couch, someone who is a friend to all Guardian kind, who's known far and wide, a member of the Destiny Global Comms team here at Bungie, Mr. Dylan Gaffner. How's it going, Dylan?
It's going well. How are you, Andy?
I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for
Got to make sure to ask every time.
I appreciate it. I need all the help I can get. Well, to anyone out there who may not have accosted you on the wild world of social media or is just somehow meeting you for the first time, do you mind telling us about what you do here at Bungie?
My name is Dylan Gaffner, formerly community team, where we would go out, collect your feedback, translate it to the dev team, and then bring their
Global
information back to you,
comms.
kind of be that middleman. Now I'm on Global Comms, so I'm going to be in more of like a puzzle piece organization stage of what do we talk about, when do we talk about it, why do we talk about it, and then just making sure we get the information out to all players.
Yeah, well, we all appreciate it. Thank you for always being the voice of the player inside our hallowed halls. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, well, now that we've kind of got the intros out of the way, let's talk about our new saga. Robbie, I'd love to start with you. What's up next in Destiny, and where are we exploring?
Yeah, so our first expansion this year, The Edge of Fate, is the start of a brand new multi-year saga called the Fate Saga. And so we want to tell a story about something older, about the nature of fate itself. Are we bound by it? Can we fight it? Because before the Traveler ever arrived in our solar system, there was already space magic here, Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so ultimately, this is a story that we're going to explore one of Destiny's biggest mysteries and the foundations of the universe itself.
You're talking about the Nine, aren't you?
Who
Yeah.
told you?
I think it's
Subtle,
How did
I
you
know.
guess?
I'll
Yeah.
Set you off.
We did such a good job with this
Really
secret.
buried that lead, didn't we? Yeah.
just a little bit.
That's, but I mean, to that end, so who and maybe more appropriately, what are the Nine?
Yeah, so buckle up. In the simplest description possible, the Nine are extraordinarily powerful beings that have been in the solar system for way, 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 way longer than the Traveler. We can think of them as being kind of connected to each of the major celestial bodies in Sol. So that's each of our 8 planets plus the sun. Sorry, Pluto.
It's messed up.
Didn't make the cut.
All right, fair.
I don't make the rules. Yeah, there you go. But the important thing to know about them is that this is why we're going to be so focused on the solar system for the next saga. We want to ask questions about our home that we've never asked before.
Yeah. So when it comes to
So
the
we're
Nine,
not
obviously,
leaving?
Eagle-Eyed
Leaving
Guardians
Sol?
have been able to spot references to them for quite some time, whether it be outright ominous or a straight-up game show in some cases. Can you tell us a little bit maybe about what we should expect from them?
Expect to be surprised. Like you said, the lore of the Nine really ranges from like Star Horse infinitely neighing to the Nine doing genuinely awful, awful things in our lore. And so the important thing to know about them is that the Nine are individuals. This isn't a collective. It's not like a hive mind. Each of them are kind of their own being, their own person in the loose definition of a person. They have different
Oh,
wants
this guy's
and
asking for
desires.
trouble.
They can ally with different members and fight with different members too. In the words of one of our characters really early on, there are aliens, and then there's aliens, and then there are aliens, and that latter one is what the Nine are qualified as.
Fair enough. All right, so beings of obviously immense power, something that the Guardians have gone toe-to-toe with in the past. We've even faced off against the very embodiment of the darkness itself.
Yeah.
What could be tougher than that?
Yeah, so this is something that we think about a lot about, because ultimately the Nine seek to free themselves at no matter the cost to humanity. And because they're extra dimensional in the ways that Allison are describing, they're not bound by the same rules that we are, that we've really experienced before in the game today. And so humanity and the Guardians, to many of them, are ultimately just bugs that can be squashed on, that they don't really care or think about beyond, achieving their ultimate goals. So.
Yeah, I mean,
He said
for the
escape.
last 10 years, Guardians have really just been making their own fate.
Yeah.
I mean, so the Nine is challenging that. How are we going to deal with it?
Yeah, whether we like it or not, the Nine have a plan for us. And like you said, Guardians are really good at making their own fate and going out and deciding who they want to be. But what happens when them deciding to make our own fate is exactly what our fate is? Like, what if that was the plan all along? These are extra-dimensional beings. That means they perceive our reality in a very different way and can interact with it in a very different way.
It's like they're a move ahead in chess.
Weird.
What a reference. But you were mentioning, obviously the Fate Saga is one of the subjects of today. How long can we expect the Fate Saga to last?
Yeah, so the Fate Saga is going to play out over several years, and ultimately we know where we're driving this car. We know where we're going with it. But the conclusion of the Edge of Fate itself is going to leave you with more questions than answers, and it's going to be the catalyst into this new multi-year saga. Because we really want to return Destiny to being a game about big questions, right? And so the way we think about this is about pouring
It kind of
fuel
reminded me
into the
to Mercury.
speculation engine of the game. So we're going to be revealing a lot of ideas, a lot of concepts, and many of them we're not going to be answering immediately, because we're going to be telling the story over multiple expansions, and we're going to be giving you those expansion beats more times than we have before in the past. And so the Year of Prophecy kicks off with the Fate Saga, and with it, humanity is now set on a collision course with this celestial pantheon of the system that has been here for a very, very long time. And so the Edge of Fate launches on July 15th. And then the second expansion of our Year of Prophecy is Renegade, which comes this winter. And then later in 2026, we've got Shattered Cycle and The Alchemist. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of exciting beats. And so again, the Edge of Fate is just the beginning of this long journey of this awesome vehicle we're all jumping into and driving together, and it's going to take us to some new places.
That's exciting. So with regards to the
It's
Edge
like
of
a
Fate right
year
here
and a
in front of
half.
us, you were also nice enough to bring the class something today. You've got some gameplay with you,
Oh
right?
yeah, we got some clips.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we should show those off.
It's a
Let's
doozy.
Let's check it
I
out.
like the present. Let's check it out.
Observe, connect, conceal. Guardian, I had a vision. Conform, comply, return. They just wanted to show us disasters. Observe, connect, conceal. I'm not human anymore. Return, conform, comply. No one else should know what this feels like. Enough. Terminate your suspicion, Commander. Remove your scornful blindfold. Observe, connect, conceal, conform, comply, return. Observe, connect, conceal, conform, comply, connect, return.
Man, we need some more enemies. Because I don't look forward to fighting
that
Vex
gives
and
us an
Fallen
awful
still
lot to
again.
go ahead and continue to dive into. And here to help us go ahead and explore a little bit more of it, everyone, you probably noticed we've been joined by someone new here on the couch. We are privileged to be joined by someone who's the originator of perhaps my favorite all-time Destiny emote, the one and only Dave Samuel, art director here at Bungie. Dave, how's it going, man?
It's going great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. For anyone who maybe for some reason somehow doesn't have that emote in their collection or hasn't seen you in a past VIDOC, do you mind telling us a little bit about what you do here at Bungie?
Yeah, I'm art director on Edge of Fate. I work with the art team to visualize the narrative and design and kind of bring it all together.
It's a lot to bring together. Thank you very much for being here today.
Yeah.
So with the Edge of Fate, it's obviously the first expansion in the Fate Saga. Allison, I'd love to start with you, actually. What can you tell us about the Edge of Fate?
The Edge of Fate begins with an invitation, and we are invited along with a very specific group of people to a location, to a moment in time for a very specific reason.
Very specific purpose.
Very specific reason and purpose, yes. And the place that we're going to is called Kepler. And so you may be saying, now Allison, hold your horses
You read
1
my mind.
second,
Yeah.
because the Kepler I know is the one that's way outside of our galaxy. What do you mean we're going to Kepler? And I say, like, dear friend, didn't you know if you look inside in Destiny's universe, the Oort cloud at the edge of the solar system, you'll find a little planetoid that also happens to be named Kepler here in the world of Destiny. And that's where we're going, to Kepler.
Super exciting. And this is kind of a, Robbie, we were talking kind of before the show, this is like like a first taste of something new, right?
Yeah, so what you're seeing here is us just trying something new. We're expanding the universe of Destiny, creating new mysteries to uncover. This whole destination is about exploring a labyrinthian world that took inspirations from things like Dreaming City, exotic missions, dungeons, and it's wrapping it all through a Metroidvania expired experience. And so at the heart of all of this,
Reminds
at the
me
heart
of
of the Edge of
Nessus.
Fate, is a
Vex.
player-driven exploration and discovery of an exotic world with brand new abilities.
So actually to even just maybe dig a little bit deeper, like how is the Edge of Fate going to be different from past expansions that we've made for Destiny?
Yeah, so at the global scale, when we're thinking about expansions in the Year of Prophecy and the formula of Destiny expansions going forward, first off, we're doing 2 expansions a year instead of just 1. And think of each of these expansions as a little bigger than something like a Rise of Iron from D1. And so both of these expansions combined are going to be even more expansion content than we've done in the past. And by delivering 2 of these a year, we're upping the pace of major world and story events that really matter to players and are going to be pushing the Fate saga forward. And so we're trying radical new things with each of these expansions. And so alongside this new destination of Kepler, this exotic world that players will explore with brand new abilities, we also have world tiers. And world tiers allow you to take on a higher level of challenge on the destination in order to extract some of the best loot within the release. But what's cool about world tiers is as you play through the mainline story and you play through the first couple of world tiers, you're going to unlock later world tiers. And as you're claiming these abilities, as you're exploring the world more, as you're discovering more within the release, you're putting these puzzle pieces together and you're figuring out how to solve all the mysteries on Kepler with different ways. And so you might play a puzzle in one way, a mission in one way, and when you're in these higher world tiers in the post game, you can start to solve these problems in different ways that you couldn't before in the original playthrough. And so alongside all of this, we're also going to have a ton of quest content that we're rethinking about how we use within the game. And so on Kepler, there's some non-linearity within the destination itself. And so with a lot of our side quest content that is related to the critical path, but you don't have to play it. It's there for you to explore. It's driven by your discovery of the world. You're out in the field, you discover something and you pick it up, and that's going to help you explore the characters in the world of Kepler more and go deeper on that story. And so, yeah, again, this is all about us just looking at the formulas that we've been building in Destiny over the last 10 years, and some of them are really strong, but they're due for some experimentation and some radical changes. And so that's what you're seeing here with the first taste of the Edge of Fate.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love everything you just said. I was a little distracted by some of the gameplay we were showing, like exotic sniper rifle, I think I saw, kind of recognize that.
Oh, yeah.
Some enemies with a couple really cool twists, like, okay.
Yeah.
But then also there was a guardian that turned into like a lightning ball. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's multiple new abilities that your players are going to be able to discover on Kepler that's going to make them navigate and look at the world in different ways. But the one you're talking about, Dylan, we see it as our premier ability, the crown jewel of the release, and that's called Matter Spark. And Dave has joined us, and he's helps us take the vision of the narrative and the design and the art and smush it together in amazing experiences. And so I think Dave should talk to us more about Matter Spark.
Please.
Yeah. So there's this new source of energy on Kepler, this strange dark matter.
Okay.
So the Guardian binds itself to the dark matter using the arc powers within. You can think of the dark matter as like a medium, and the arc as this catalyst that will allow you to completely change form.
Does it do damage?
Transforming into Matter Spark lets you squeeze into tight areas, race around areas, jump over stuff, and it also allows you to turn into this basically electric rolling ball of death, jolting and shocking enemies that come across your path.
So obviously, one big part movement, one big part combat, but I mean, even just in addition to that, to look a little bit, wider, like how did the Matter Spark Ball kind of influence the world that we're going to be inhabiting?
Yeah, the team really had to rethink what it means to build a destination with these abilities in mind. A simple hill becomes a ramp to get to a new space. A crack in the wall, it basically will reveal a whole new area to explore. It's also a new way to engage with enemies. Instead of taking a bunch of enemies head on, you can find a Matter Spark pad, transform, turn into this electric ball of death, and then just start racing around the arena, dash over their heads, and flank from behind, and then really give the House of Exile on Kepler a bad day.
As well we should. It's a good day for us as well. So what are some of the other Kepler abilities that we'll be able to unlock while we're out there as well?
Yeah, so each of these Kepler abilities are a mix of dark matter and our Guardian's powers. So we have the Relocator Cannon, which is this new fallen dark matter tech mixed with void. This is going to allow you to bypass laser walls, use these cascading relay networks, and just basically teleport around the world. Another ability that we have is Mattermorph. This is dark matter mixed with strand, allows you to manipulate the environment. You'll be able to basically push and morph and move geometry to create bridges, open up doorways, and then also reveal secrets and new opportunities.
Yeah, so what's really important about what Dave is describing and when we were thinking
Reminds
about
me of a
building this
morph
world,
ball.
it was all about like, hey, here's this new tool to navigate and see the world in a different way and solve little puzzles and mysteries throughout the missions, the free roam, and the quest content, and beyond. But also what was really important to us is that we lean into Destiny's first-class ability gameplay. And so with Matterspark, like Dave is mentioning, you're jumping, you're dashing into enemies to destroy them, you're doing giant explosions with them. With the Relocator Cannon, you're just blowing everything up with void explosions and graviton lance style, like little secret projectiles. And then what's really fun about Mattermorph is you can just be like throwing these strange shurikens basically to just like delete an encounter before you then like start to morph the environment around you and move to the next area. And so it's just really exciting I'm incredibly excited about watching players just like solve puzzles and fight encounters in ways that like we don't even expect yet, and see how they take on the destination. And just like I really want to emphasize, you're going to be upgrading these, and when you get into especially the post-game experience, it's going to unlock, there's something unlocked with Matterspark that really changes the way that you can play through the entire destination.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about dark matter,
Yes.
we have darkness abilities like strand and stasis already. Like, how is dark matter different?
Yeah, so dark matter and darkness are two completely separate things. They're completely different things. But dark matter does exist in our world. In the world of Destiny, we know it as being tightly connected to the Nine. It's what the Nine are actually made out of. In our world, dark matter is invisible. You can't really see it. And it wouldn't be very fun to make a destination where there's an invisible thing that you can't actually see. So lucky for us on Kepler, there's a bioluminescent microbe that allows us to see all of this substance that's impacted this world so much. It allows us to see how it's impacted the plant life, how it's impacted the behavior of the peoples that we're going to encounter. And we can see how it has been able to bring these things that are kind of unstuck in time into this current location.
I do have to put on my drifter hat for just a second and, like, what does it smell like? What does it taste like?
Yeah. Dark matter smells and tastes like bleach and math. Yeah, it's true.
Cannot wait to get that chip flavor.
Yeah.
Get it with a sandwich today after.
It's zesty.
Yeah, it's really good. Actually, so on the topic too of stuff in the trailer as well, we heard someone talking there. Can you tell us who that was?
Sure, that was Lodi. Lodi is a new character that we're introducing in Apollo. Not in Apollo, we're introducing him in The Edge of Fate.
He's wearing glasses.
I want to give a special shout out to Brian Villalobos, who portrays Lodi and does a spectacular job. This character is fascinating. He's kind of a fish out of water, but the fun thing about tropes is to kind of put a twist on them, right? So what if that fish that we pulled out of the water was the most qualified fish to be pulled out into the air?
Down for anything.
It's down for anything.
Yeah.
And what if that fish was kind of made to be pulled out of the water? I don't want to give away too much because this character is way more fun for the players to figure out what his deal is, but I will say that Lodi is very, very far from home.
Very fair, very exciting. So,
I do have to call out too, before we started.
He looks like
this,
a professor.
You and Robbie were talking about how Lodi is like a notice me character.
Oh yeah. Robbie wanted a senpai.
I did. Yeah, I wanted someone that I just wanted to spend a bunch of time with on this new adventure we're going on.
Yeah, a friend that we can look up to.
Yeah.
right, yeah. Notice me.
Notice
Notice
me.
me.
Lodi.
Yeah, of course,
He
it
will.
writes
He will.
itself, or rather Allison does. So with regards to the characters as well, so is it a whole new cast of characters in The Edge of Fate?
No, we're going to see some new faces like Lodi and other characters, but we're also going to see some familiar ones too. Ikora is here. The stakes are high enough that she's here investigating what's going on. And as it turns out, in one of our major mysteries, she's kind of at the center of it. She was invited here, as was Lodi. Same as we were. All of it's kind of tied together.
exciting.
So the way, oh, if I can,
no,
yeah,
please.
no, yeah,
please,
like
yeah.
the way we think about this is about all these characters, their fates are intertwined in some way. There's these puppet masters that have been pulling the strings for a very, very long time in order for everyone to get here at this moment. And so as a guardian and these characters involved, they're gonna have to decide if they're fight your fate. Like that's what we think about. For these individuals, that's what they're going to have to go through and determine about how they can stand up to this new conflict that is surrounded by the Nine, because they are fated to be here. And what does that mean for them, and what does that mean for their future and the future of Soul itself?
So with regard to these new characters and this world we find ourselves in, was there anything about that setting, or in particular, that really influenced the creation, rather, of this world that we're going to be inhabiting?
Yeah, I'll give you a list of fun facts. First off, if you've been paying attention to Destiny over the last week or so, you already know that there's been people on Kepler for a long time. That's an old-ass computer that you were putting those numbers into. We also know that the Vex are here. They're studying the Nine, because it turns out the Nine can do something that the Vex can't. As Dave mentioned, the House of Exile are also here. They've become fixated on a being that they call the Giver. And kind of most importantly, the dimensionality on Kepler is really thin. So the 3 dimensions that we can know and see and touch are very close to the realm that the Nine live in. And that means some things from Earth's past have been yanked into Kepler's present.
Exciting.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, so we've been talking about invitations throughout this, and we need to call out an invitation that's actually going to be waiting in the game after this is over. Ride of the Nine begins today.
Yeah.
So I believe we have a trailer to show.
Yeah, you were nice enough to bring a trailer along. I'll go ahead and give it a look really quickly.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
He said right of 9. Is this another take on Onslaught? It kind of reminds me of Onslaught, but completely different locations.
All right, so that's Ride of the Nine, which is our essential prologue story for The Edge of Fate. And these 3 dungeons that are featured in this event are free for all players starting today. And so what's really important about this is that these dungeons are both for veteran dungeon crawlers, hardcore raiders, people who've been in these places a lot, but also new guardians who have never stepped into a dungeon before, right? What was really important for us when we were developing Ride of the Nine was that we were changing the formula on how we can think about how we can welcome even more people into these experiences. And so you're gonna be able to go in solo, buffed up, and explore a dungeon by yourself, or go in match made with other fire team members shoulder to shoulder for the very first time. But don't worry, because we also have that higher level challenge for our veteran, our hardcore dungeon crawlers, where you're going to be able to earn the best possible loot, exclusive rewards, and also an exclusive title as part of Rights of the Nine. What's also really important about this event for being a prologue for The Edge of Fate is that it really reintroduces the emissary into the game, and you're going to learn why her job is pretty crappy and why she quits at the top of The Edge of Fate, like we saw at the beginning of this show. And so, Andy, we've been talking a bunch about how our Destiny expansions are changing the formula for Destiny going forward. So now I think it's time for us to start talking about how the core hobby of Destiny is changing going forward, the day-to-day of playing Destiny, week-over-week experience. And we've got someone else on the couch here to help us talk about that.
We have an expert in that very subject now who's gone ahead and joined us on the couch. We are now joined by the one and only Mr. Ben Womack, creative director here on Destiny. Ben, how's it going, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, seriously.
There is a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good conversation we have coming up.
Yes.
But before we get into that, can you tell us just a little bit about what you do here?
Yeah. So I'm the Destiny 2 creative director for the core game, or the core hobby, as we call it.
Yeah.
And it has to do with all parts of the game, everything from Edge of Fate, through our seasons, through the fundamental systems. And in particular, like Robbie was saying, I've been focusing on thinking about the kind of building blocks of Destiny 2 and getting those like not only stood up but also transformed and iterated on in some really exciting new places.
Nice. Well, let's go ahead and just start at the top. Can you tell us a little bit about what like the core formula of Destiny is changing and why?
Yes, so I think I need to start with the why first, because it's important to think about what is Destiny, what is great about Destiny. And Destiny is best when you have like awesome chases that you're excited about, you have really cool, powerful builds to make, and there's a mountain to climb that's right in front of you that you want to climb. You're like, I want that mountain, it looks pretty cool. And the thing that is not always true right now in Destiny is like, it doesn't feel streamlined as it could. Players don't have as much agency. You know, we want to be player driven, we want to be more rewarding than we are. Because right now there are barriers to playing Destiny like in the best way. And those barriers are insurmountable sometimes. So think about that whole picture of, okay, what is the Destiny that we really want, that has been in the past, that we also want to get back to, and where we want to go for the future? That's where all the changes you're going to see have started, like at their inception point. So it's a big piece of the pie.
Massive updates coming across so many systems of the game, and this is like we're just getting in, digging into the surface.
Yeah. I mean, to that same end, then, how are we making it easier? Pardon me, to go ahead and just get straight into the fun.
Oh no, let's do it, because that's exactly what we want to do. And the first thing you're going to see when you log into Destiny with Edge of Fate, you're going to log in your character and see your ship in orbit. It's going to say, it's not going to say Open Director, it's going to say Open Portal. And the portal is our new front page of the game. We're trying to like get you to the fun as fast as possible and as few clicks as we can. Like we even have Edge of Fate there in the corner, so that it's like right immediately there. No fumbling around with the map to get to it, really. And we're also taking other big parts of the game, the ritual game and for seasons, and putting them into these ops categories. So the idea is that we're having these different ops for different moods. We're having solo ops. We have a bunch of fireteam ops, we have pinnacle ops, and of course we have crucible ops, still super important for the game.
Do you see a power cap?
I mean, to start up at the top, can you tell us a little bit more about what solo ops
is? Yeah. So solo ops is exactly what it says on the tin. It is a bunch of activities that are made for solo players. And the conception point of that was, we want to make activities for players who have a smaller amount of time that they want to play in, and they don't necessarily want to have like dependencies on other players, but they still want to get in there and play for 10 to 15 minutes and get some real progress.
Yeah, get some loot.
Yeah, get some loot.
Yeah.
Get some loot and get your character forward and feel like, yeah, no, I played some Destiny and that was great. And even if you don't feel like playing with other people, that's fine, because we have an activity type that is designed for one player.
Excellent. So, I mean, to that same end, what are some other ways that we can play and have fun using Portal as well?
Yeah, so Robbie actually has a great way of talking about this.
Yeah, some of the North Star that is what we talk about when we were developing the Portal early on was like, where are we headed with this thing? And ultimately, it's play your way. It's giving players more agency, more personal drive to figure out how they want to engage with the power climb and the new progression systems coming and our seasons. And so the entirety new progression and power climb is now all available to you in the Portal at your fingertips in one place. It's really easy to find, really easy to jump in. Anything you play inside of that category any of those categories is gonna help you make progress. And so, because we want Destiny to be welcoming not only to new players, but also old players who are coming back to the game to join us with the Edge of Fate. And we also want this to be like a new even playing field for everyone. And so, as part of this is a commitment from us as part of the core hobby and all the seasonal content we're building, that we're going to be continually investing in this, right? We're going to be continually updating this over time for years to come. And so, you're asking me directly, like, what else is there to do?
Yeah.
Ben mentioned solo ops. We also have the fire team ops and pinnacle ops. Both of these are more around playing with other fire team members, shoulder to shoulder, where fire team ops are more quicker sessions. There are some longer form things in it too, but then pinnacle ops are more about those really long form or more challenging kind of focused activities like exotic missions, for instance. And so, and then the one thing we haven't talked about yet very deeply, but is incredibly important, and it's something that I think we've done for the first time like ever, or maybe since early D1.
It's kind of a return to form.
Yeah. You're going to be able to experience the entirety of the power climb within Crucible Ops by playing PvP, right? So this means like, if you want to be sweaty, Andy, which like I know you, Dylan too. I know you're that way, right? Like I know both of y'all. Like you want to put the sweatbands on.
That's what I'm trying
to
to figure out.
The entire experience in the season.
Are they talking about the power
some of
cap?
the highest tier loot that's also available in the game.
So I have to say, this is like super exciting, because like my player type or other folks out in the community, like they want to go in, they want to jam on PvP, but then their friends invite them to do a dungeon or a higher tier activity, and they're like, oh wait, I need to grind a long time to get up to power. Now through PvP, they can get up to power, and you can just bring them into that PvE experience and have a fun time with each other.
Yeah,
So.
that's honestly how I primarily played D1.
So I'm hoping
really
they're saying you
looking
can
forward
get to the
that.
pinnacle
So it
cap
sounds like the core,
through
obviously what you guys
PvP by
talked about,
itself.
play the way you want to play. It's at the center of all of it. What if I really want to challenge myself, push myself?
Oh yeah.
a little bit more?
That's important to us.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Depth. Depth's
Yeah.
important to us.
Well, death, but also success.
Yes,
and
that's
creation
true.
from
Yeah,
it,
that's
right?
true, yeah.
Yeah, and so we really want to give agency. That's one of the things. Player agency, player driven towards loot and challenge. And so we have a really hugely expanded activity customization system. We have a lot more difficulty levels, and we have a ton of new modifiers. We have 50 new modifiers along with all the old modifiers that we've released in the past that are going to make this big curated web of options for you to experience any of the PvE content in the curator. And so, like, we have Banes, not just old Banes that we have, but new Banes as well. We also have boons to help you like get advantages in your activities and for your build. We have challenges and trade-offs. And the fun part is you're going
back down to
get these
100.
different combinations that are available, and you're going to then make a mix that's actually going to change the way you play and be pretty interesting, and sometimes be the way you prefer you play. Like, there's a new boon called Grappler that I personally love. It's kind of my preferred way to play, where they give you 3 grapple grenades replacing your current grenade. You can't do the melee, but they recharge super fast. So any build you want, you could now Spider-Man around any map. It's actually super fun.
It's so fun. Yeah, and I mean, like, what's at the heart of what Ben is talking about is what we kind of call the virtuous cycle, right? Where you're going to be crafting your build, tinkering with the activity, looking at like how you can earn a higher tier of reward by taking on higher challenge. And as you earn better loot, you're looking towards that next mountain to climb just ahead of you all the time. And so this is really about how far you want to push yourself upwards within the portal itself. But also, we also are thinking about the people, and that's the depth, right? That's the depth of the challenge that we're talking about. That's also, but we're also thinking about the people who don't have as much time to play with like solo ops, and also if you're scared of modifiers or you're scared of customizing these activities.
Or you just don't feel
or
like
you just don't
it
feel like
today.
doing it. Yeah, no, that's a great way to describe it. Thank you. We have a bunch of quick play options, right, Ben?
Yeah, quick play options, and we actually have matchmaking and fire team ops.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And we have fire team finder, and so you're able to like really choose kind of what you're in the mood for.
Oh yeah, we
you know?
technically have matchmaking across every activity that exists.
Except for solo ops, because that's solo.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yes,
Yes,
otherwise,
but in the fire
aside
teams
from
or
that
pinnacle
one.
ops, it's everything.
Yeah, you'll have options to play by yourself or with other people. Oh, actually, a really fun part is you can play a strike by yourself as hard as you want it to
That's
now,
true, yeah,
which is
yeah.
really fun. Yeah.
Well, you're talking about like all the different boons and combinations. I think at one point you were saying around 50 or something like that. Those
50 new
apply-
ones.
50 new ones.
Yeah.
So it's like you can take those into solo ops. Like we're talking about this being kind of leisurely, bite-sized activity, but if you want to take it and say, I don't want Weenie Hut Jr., I want like esoteric level solo hardest thing in the world, like you can kind of customize and do that.
You can just do it from the very start if you really want to.
Yeah.
And
Depends on how deep you want to go.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, and the point is that you're going to like stretch that far, and we want the reward to feel like worthwhile.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, you want to feel like as you're pushing yourself, you are rewarded for it. That is something that's really important to the vision here for the portal. Yeah.
Rewards, huh?
rewards. There are a lot of rewards, aren't there?
It's funny you mentioned it. Yeah, we've got Banes, boons, modifiers, but let's talk about gear for a little bit here.
Yeah.
What's changing about loot, and why should Guardians care?
Yeah, so like talking about chases and mountains and builds, like gear's at the center of all of that. And we actually have two giant gear changes I'm gonna like put in two little buckets for us to talk about.
Yep.
The first one is Armor 3.0.
Okay,
and
here
the
we
next
go.
one is gear tiers. And so like talking about Armor 3.0 first, we are probably making the biggest change ever since Shadowkeep
It's
around
huge.
the system. It's
Yeah,
enormous.
It's a huge change.
Yeah, so like we're adding set bonuses, which is a long requested feature for all the new armor that you're going to be able to get at Edge of Fate launch, and we're redoing all the stats on armor. Where they can now like exceed 100.
Go beyond 100.
Go beyond 100 for extra bonuses.
Yep.
We're going to every single piece of new legendary armor that drops is going to have all the energy filled in, so you can build crafting right away, and it's going to essentially like. There's more features actually that I can talk about, but I don't
Oh
think
my
I'm allowed to.
gosh, this is like a reset.
Something that we can't talk about too. You mentioned gear tiers as well.
Yeah.
They're
Let's talk about that a
resetting
little bit.
everything.
Yeah, so gear tiers are very exciting because every single legendary weapon and armor that you can get is going to have 5 gear tiers, starting from 1 going up to 5. And like we have a 5 gear tier 5 piece of legs armor on the screen right now, and you can see that like this is like looks really cool with iconography, but it also has a ton more stats. And oh look, what's that?
Yeah, what's going on with the energy there?
Yeah, the energy.
Ben?
Yeah, the energy says 11,
Ah,
and
so
it's
it goes to
true.
11. Yep.
It's not a typo. Like energy is going to 11 for higher tier armor. And so if you want that for your build crafting opportunities, it does like give you some new options you never had before. You're going to have to challenge yourself to get more higher tier armor and keep on going to get yet more higher tier armor to get those options.
And this is
that's
also
gonna
not something
be-
that's just relegated to armor, right? When it comes to weapons, they're
That's gonna
obviously
be a
gonna
grind.
refresh as well.
Yes,
So what's Destiny without chasing some?
You read my mind.
Yeah, like weapons
seriously.
are part of the player identity. You know, some people like have a gun that they love.
You
and
got fashion, and then you have gunplay.
that's
right?
true, though we do have fashion for your guns a bit now.
Hey.
well, so because once you reach tier 5 for your legendary drops, you're going to be getting tier 5 weapons, and those have unique shader treatment. It's like essentially a completely different look that's going to immediately identify it to you and others that this is the highest tier gear of this drop that you can get. It's
You
gonna
can
show on the
enhance
weapon,
the
it's gonna
scope.
show on the icon. It's even going to show when you kill enemies with that weapon, because there's unique kill effects for tier 5 weapons that you can turn on or off if you don't want it, but your gameplay will like show that, no, yeah, the weapon that is being used is like the highest tier you can get.
Yeah, Giver's Blessing, which I think we have on screen right now. This is one of the Kepler auto rifles, and I cannot put this thing down.
it's so good.
Yeah, when we're playing through the Edge of Fate right now, and it's what's really exciting about it for me is that like when you see that tier 5 drop, like you know immediately that's better than like a tier 3 or tier 4 weapon that you have, right? And I think that's when we talk about making Destiny easier to just jump in, find the fun, make it accessible, but also create more depth.
Yeah.
You know, this is what we're thinking about. It's like how can we just make immediate, like you understand, like okay, this is probably better than the thing I have right now, depending on what gear tier it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good example of how much time and effort is being put into these game systems to make them more like approachable. Change can be scary. There's a lot of change that's about to come to the game. We're Armor 3.0, we have so many new boons, we have a bunch of new stuff. And after 10 years of Destiny, this is going to flip some stuff on its head. So, I mean, we're going to have a bunch of blog content. We're going to have interviews with Robbie, with Ben, with more folks across the team that have been working on this. And then we'll also be elevating our creator community when they're creating guides, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a fun time. But ultimately, a big shout out and thank you to all the folks that have been coming into our studio, giving feedback early on some of these systems so they can be more approachable. And we're looking forward to all the feedback that's going to be coming after launch too. Like this is again one of our first steps into something, and then the community and we are going to build something amazing.
Yeah, and I can't stress enough how much feedback we've gotten from the community summits we've been running over the last year for the Edge of Fate, and just people reaching out to the community teams and others to us. Like your feedback is invaluable. So like seriously, like thank you so much. We're making this game together ultimately.
Yeah, it's incredibly important part of the
This
process.
is a complete
I don't think we
reset.
would be able to make what we do without it.
Complete
Community is
reset.
obviously a core part. Dylan, huge thanks to you and your team, obviously, for helping to lead that charge, and in advance for the big blogs you get to write, and then also our social media team. We'll go ahead and get out the door, so go ahead and give us a follow.
I think Ben, you were saying you wanted to try to break the record for longest twid.
I'm more predicting we are.
Yeah. So
It's not about try; it's the state of things.
It's going to be a multi-month journey as we head towards launch. So.
Yeah, be a good time. But you know, we've been talking a lot about the core Destiny hobby. How does that extend into like how players are going to experience like a full year of Destiny?
Yeah, so we've been focusing on improving and changing the formula of Destiny in multiple ways. And so progressing through the Fate Saga is going to be more meaningful with 2 expansions a year. We've been talking about how focusing our seasons on the core hobby of Destiny and that commitment to continually updating it. And in addition, we're going to have 2 free major updates between each of our major expansions coming in the Year of Prophecy and beyond. And so ultimately that means there's 4 big beats happening in a year, 2
Screenshot.
expansions, 2 free major updates between those expansions. So what that means we're not doing is paid seasonal content anymore. We're not doing separate seasonal storylines. And this also means we're not building a bunch of activity content that basically just goes away and is less meaningful to the game after 3 months. So we're instead focusing all of that effort that used to go there instead into building up the core hobby of the game so the core hobby stays fresh and exciting, year round. And
That's
so,
much better.
Ultimately, this means no more paywalls for seasonal content, and also these major updates themselves that I'm signposting around right now. The size of them, roughly, and the inspiration for them, we're thinking about is like Into the Light.
Okay.
So when you say like into the light, for folks that aren't out there, like what for a major update, how big is that? Like how do you encapsulate that?
So when I say Into the Light, a lot of this is like the inspiration of what it was. And with Into the Light came a really cool theme that wrapped around all the new stuff we were building within it, but also a lot of the reprise stuff as well. And also, with it came Onslaught, a new type of activity. It came with reprised exotic missions and a rethinking of how we could do like a rad style event, a raid event with the Pantheon. And so for our first major update coming a few weeks after the Edge of Fate launches, we've got Ash and Iron. Right? And so with Ash and Iron, Yeah, we're going to be returning to the Plaguelands.
Returning to the Plaguelands. Can't wait.
It's going to happen.
Plaguelands, baby.
And so that story is going to pick up from where we left off, from the Edge of Fate. And with it, we're going to have a new activity called Reclaim, a brand new exotic mission, new types of pinnacle ops entering that for the first time, as well as, of course, what's Destiny without loot to chase? We've got new gear, new rewards, and 2 new exotic weapons as part of Ashen Iron as well. And again, this major update and all the seasonal content going forward is free for all players. All the activity content that exists in the portal, that's free to play.
Very nice. So even to actually go one quick layer two deeper on seasons as well, what are some of the cool things that we're going to be able to do with the season that's launching alongside the Edge of Fate?
Yeah, Ben has been working on this space for the team for a while now, so I'm going to kick this one to him. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're trying to make any time the best time to hop into Destiny.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the ways we want to do that is we want to invest in events that are like accelerating the game and enhancing every part of the game, but also bringing new cool stuff. And actually, we've been working on this so long, we actually have some new cool stuff coming before the Edge of Fate.
It's a special little treat.
Yeah, special little treat. So this Friday, you can play a little event, maybe you've heard of it, called Heavy Metal, which is Tanks vs. Briggs, a new PvP mode. It's super fun. I would kind of wish I was playing it right now, not gonna lie. But the thing that people at home don't know is we have a new reward. That's a unique thing in Destiny if you invest in this event, if you go and play. And it is a free-to-play event. So this reward is free to play. It is a new combat vehicle that goes in your Sparrow sled, combat Sparrow, if you will, called the Griffin. And this is a really cool, like, combat-ready vehicle you can take anywhere you can summon a Sparrow. You can summon it and use it to fight your enemies and just have a really good time. And there's some really cool there's some really cool build crafting things with this vehicle that I don't want to spoil right now, that you'll discover, but I'm super excited for it.
They all thought they were going to ride those skimmers forever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've been saying, like, what was it? Skimmer is Flash and the Griffin is Splash.
Hey, there we go. The dad joke quota has been met.
We got to get one in.
Absolutely, yeah. But that's all, right? Man, like, you've got more for us, don't you?
Oh yeah. So like I just said, there's more events that
Yeah.
we've been making. There's one that's going to happen right after the launch of Edge of Fate. It's called Arms Week, and it's a 1 week long event, and you're going to be focusing on one weapon archetype in Arms Week whenever it comes around. And this one is going to give you a new legendary weapon of that type. It's going to have some volatile mods that are there for the week that are going to be super interesting and fun to play with, and some focusing you can do. But there is a problem when you say this event is going to be about weapons and about using them.
Yeah, you got to have a place to test all that out.
Right. And
Yeah,
so I mean, I've been doing that in EDZ this whole time. I don't know about the rest of you.
Those poor dregs.
Right?
Yeah.
But there is a new way now. We have a new feature, a long
We got a
requested feature
range?
that is being added to the game with Arms Week. It is the shooting range. And the shooting range is being added to the tower. It is a now permanent addition to the game with the launch of Arms Week. We're not taking it away. And you can go there and you can try out everything in your kit, everything about your build, with all sorts of simulations. of
That
different
makes
kinds
so
of
much sense.
Enemies and situations, and it's all real damage numbers. It's like
It's even got a scoreboard.
it's even got a
For
scoreboard
you
right there.
and your fire team.
Yeah, your whole raid team can go down into the shooting range and try out, like, see exactly how well you're going to do for some kind of boss at this range or with
I was
a
gonna say, yeah,
strategy.
who can do most of the damage, right?
Yeah, well, you're finally going to know. That
So we have a rally flag. It's not just a shooting range. Like, you can go beyond the firing line and use your abilities too.
Yeah, you totally can. And like, if you wanted to, you could.
Oh, you can
take
change the
in Prismatic
enemies.
and
Nice.
Pop Transcendence and try that out. And well, I think the reason why we're not seeing that right now is because it's a Titan.
Yeah, it's a good soldier.
Yeah.
Standing on that firing line.
Yeah, staying on the firing line.
All about building that line and standing.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of theory crafters are going to have to go ahead and have some upheavals to their Google Docs, I'm guessing.
This will be a really good tool. Like, as we're adding all of these different systems with gear tiering and all of that, you can go in and check those damage numbers in real time. Like, how do my stats change? How are these different gear bonuses going to affect my gameplay? You can
How
see it in the
fast do I
tower
get
now.
my super back?
And while we're talking about weapons,
Oh yeah,
got
well
one more thing, right?
Yeah, no, there's one more thing. I know you're
Yeah.
excited. So there's more events. Of course, there's more events, and the holiday events are coming up. Where Solstice is right around the corner.
It's
as well.
summertime, right?
It's summertime. Summertime is Solstice time in Destiny 2, and Solstice has some really cool twists and such that we're planning. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. I want to show you all the new hollow foil treatment we have for Solstice weapons. So here we go. This is the hollow foil treatment for Solstice in 2025. It is
so good.
it's amazing every time I look at it.
Yeah.
It is an ocean
On a
and
gun.
the line. Yeah, we put the ocean on a gun. How did we do that? It's beautiful. I love it. And any kind of weapon that drops for this event can have a hollow foil.
Yeah,
no
so it
matter
could be
what
a tier 1 or tier 3. Yeah, any
exactly.
weapon can have a hollow foil.
Yeah,
when playing through
the like, oh, the tier 5 hollow foil.
Ooh.
Like, that's gonna be a chase. our other events will also have holofoils.
Yeah, like Arms Week you're talking
Arms Week
about.
will have its own holofoil treatment. Like every event, a major event we have, will have a holofoil treatment. The holidays will have their own kind of special one, but yeah, Arms Week will have their holofoil drops that you can farm as well.
Super exciting. No, it's going to be a good time. I'm going to have way too much stuff to chase down, so appreciate you guys putting all the hard work in, obviously, for that. But I believe we've got one more thing.
Yeah,
We're gonna need
we've been
more
talking
vault
a lot
space.
about here are the free updates coming to Destiny, the portal, a bunch of different stuff, Edge of Fate, but we also have another expansion, and we need Allison back on the couch to talk
That's
about
right,
it.
yeah, Allison.
She's the best one to talk
Yeah,
about.
we've got something very exciting, and so once again, Allison, thank you for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate it.
Of course. I'm so excited to be the one more thing.
Yeah, it's a tradition around here, so we're glad that you could obviously go ahead and lead us into this one. But, as Dylan mentioned, we've talked about the Edge of Fate, but this is the first year we're going to be doing 2 expansions over the course of a year. Can you tell us a little bit about Renegades?
Yeah, so we're going to have a dedicated reveal for Renegades in September alongside our major update, Ash and Iron. But earlier we were talking about how sometimes our formulas can constrain us from experimenting and innovating. And so in that spirit, Renegades is going to be very different from the Edge of Fate. What I can tell you, and we'll talk plenty about it later, is that we're going to be experimenting and innovating with activities, with social mechanics, and more. But more importantly, I want to talk about our inspiration. And so I have to kind of tee it up first. So Renegades is going to be a Destiny, definitively Destiny expansion. This is part of the Fate Saga, and it's going to push it forward in important ways and introduce characters that we're going to spend time with for years to come. It is an essential Fate Saga story, and it's an homage to a universe that has inspired Bungie from the start. It's a universe that all of us here on the couch grew up with, as well as everyone else at the studio.
They're gonna put Star
millions
Wars
of you
on
back
there.
at home too. It is a peanut butter and combination, a peanut butter and chocolate combination inside of what we're making that could only be possible in the kind of world that we build here. And so I am absolutely thrilled to be able to give our first sneak peek at Destiny 2 Renegades.
Let's take a look.
Like a collab, right? For sure. Oh my gosh. Looks like Tatooine. It looks like Tatooine. December 2025. Oh my gosh.
Okay, Robbie, what did we just see?
Yeah, so that's Renegades, which is coming out this December. And to really drive it home here, Renegades is a one-of-a-kind Destiny experience, right? And just like we on the Destiny team have taken inspiration from other genres like dark fantasy or cosmic horror, Renegades takes the space western vibe and aesthetic that is Star Wars, and it puts it through that Destiny lens. And ultimately, it's created a new lawless frontier that is emerging within Seoul. And so, we're so excited to show Renegades off a little bit today and to be talking about it more in the future in September alongside the free major update with Ash and Iron. But right now, today, we're focused on Rite of the Nine and what's right around the corner with the Edge of Fate.
Absolutely. No, I heard a lot of calendars get marked just now on September, but super excited to share more of that in the future. But that actually leads us to the conclusion of today's show, which again, we covered a lot.
There's been a lot today.
Yeah, this has been a big show, honestly. No, we went through a lot of it. So let's go ahead and quickly double check. We obviously went through, and the Year of Prophecy, pardon me, is going to go ahead and kick off on July 15th. And this kicks off a brand new multi-year Fate Saga and our new focus on the core hobby of Destiny. The first expansion, The Edge of Fate, is going to be launching again on July 15th, as I noted, with its raid launching on July 19th.
Screenshot.
Yeah.
So you're going through a lot of information. We already covered that.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't just sneak in a raid date. We have a new raid coming with the expansion, July 19th. We're going to have a bunch of blogs. We're going to have the rules, regulations, all that kind of stuff for our raid race.
Of course.
We invite everybody to come in, try to go for that world first title. And yeah, I mean, just stay tuned for more details. We're not going to spoil anything. It's a raid. We got to keep it secret.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, everybody mark your calendars.
Yeah. Bungie.net is the place to go ahead and learn more. And again, follow our social media channels. Do us all a favor. So in addition to that, again, as we noted, Ash and Iron, our first free major update, will be launching on September 9th. Renegades, very exciting, will be launching in December. And then keep an eye again on our social channels. We'll provide all the updates once they're available. But as far as today goes, the Edge of Fate and the entire Year of Prophecy pre-orders are available starting right now. Now, pre-ordering for starters, the Ultimate Edition will go ahead and unlock the New Land Beyond.
New Land Beyond, that exotic sniper.
Super
Ooh, I
excited.
can't wait, man.
I can't wait, same, honestly. That'll be unlockable in addition to several other goodies. And also, we've also got a collector's edition that'll be available. You can see here on screen, it will be coming with an awful lot of very cool stuff, including this cool statue that you may have noticed here that's been sitting with us on stage. This is one that you can go ahead and add to your collection as well, but that's not all that's in there. Is there, Allison?
We got, the writing team got a little excited on this one. We put a lot of lore goodies into this collector's edition. So like that weird metal thing, that weird envelope, boy, weird. Wonder what's up with that.
Just decorative
You
points?
should probably read it. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna do a dramatic reading as soon as
Yeah, we should go downstairs immediately after this.
really
Oh, yeah, right after this.
Count me in. And then again, too, as far as today goes, Rite of the Nine. This is the essential prologue to the Edge of Fate, and like all of our events moving forward, it's going to be a free to all players. So make sure and go ahead and check that out when that arrives. And before the show wraps up, make sure and stick around for a little bit longer. We're going to be rating our good friend Sammy Cat as well. So go ahead and give her a follow. Tell her we said hello in chat. Pardon me. If you have any Twitch Prime subs or anything like that, go ahead and do us a favor. Drop it over there and check out her stream. She's going to be having a good time. But that concludes it for us here today. So for starters, huge thanks to my teammates here for joining me.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, yeah. Robbie, Allison, Dylan, of course. There we go. We got Ben and, of course, Mr. Dave Samuel. Thank you all so much for being here today. And then, of course, to the crew that puts all this on.
Thank you,
This doesn't happen by accident. Thank you all so much for all of your hard work and dealing with me on these last couple of days. And, of course, to everyone at home, to all of our guardians out there in the community, thank you. It's a tremendous privilege to get the opportunity to share what we've been working on early, and it matters only if you guys show up and join us. So we really appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed. And otherwise, in the meantime, until we see you again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you all Starside.
Oh, man. Thoughts. Okay, that was a lot. I would say, I mean, the way that they are changing the armor, changing the weapons, changing all the gameplay, it screams Destiny 3, but we're still in 2. And then the power level you saw was down at 100. So, I mean, yeah, it just screams Destiny 3. It's a complete reset. So I think they didn't say anything about vault space, but because everything's getting changed so dramatically, I think that everything that we have now is going to get tossed out. I don't want to use the word sunset, but that's basically what it is, because you're not going to use anything that you have right now with the new armor and weapons that are coming out, because you're missing out on too much stuff as far as like extra energy, like having 11 instead of 10. It looked like you can enhance like all of the perks on the weapons, including like the barrel, the magazine. Yeah, like everything was different. And see like the power level here at 100. That's crazy. This is a complete reset. So, I mean, I guess it's just easier for them to not have to rebrand the entire game as a D3, but that's basically what this is. As far as this ability, this reminds me of Metroid Prime on the GameCube, because that's like one of my favorite games. It's like one of my top three, especially on the GameCube, where Samus could morph into the ball and zip around and get through different crevices and everything as she's exploring Talon 4. So this definitely reminds me of that, and I think it's good that they're getting rid of the seasons, because each, well, not seasons, well, like each episode had its own storyline or villain, and then it just wasn't really consistent in terms of story. So now every time we come up with a new season or episode or event, however they word it, it's going to be in line with what's already going on in the game. So in terms of continuity, I think that's going to help, quite a bit. And then if you're like players like me and you don't have a lot of time to play the game, even when a new event is released, you don't have to stop what you're doing from one episode and jump into a new episode. Everything's streamlined, right? Yeah, like that's the only thing I would say is I wish that there were no more Vex. I don't know why we can't seem to get rid of the Vex. I'm happy that they introduce a few different iterations of the Vex, but in terms of like the enemies that we're fighting, I just feel like, yeah, I see like this is a different iteration of the Vex. It's kind of got a little bit of a Star Wars feel to it with the drones or the droids from the Empire. I think it was in Empire Strikes Back. But yeah, the Fallen and the Vex, I'm done with fighting them. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm ready to do, see some different types of enemies. As far as the world building, I would say this reminds me of I'm drawing a blank. Like I don't see the throne world. I'm trying to think of that location that we're at right now with the final shape. Are we on Mars? I'm not sure. I'm drawing a blank on the location, but it kind of has that, a lot of mountains, rocks. You got, I don't want to call it vegetation, but you got a lot of growth over that. So it's got that feel to it. It's like that place where we fight the Witness, where it's a lot of that rocky terrain and mountainous terrain. That's what this reminds me of, but it's a little bit of Vex in here. So in that way, it kind of reminds me of Nessus, but it's not as saturated with that red color. It's just very toned down. The new character, I would say it's weird because he's wearing glasses. I'm not used to that in this particular game. Gosh, and now I'm trying to think, did any of the Star Wars characters wear glasses? I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, like ever. And that brings me to the other point. It's like, I feel like too that the world that we go to should be full of people. I just think that's too rare in Destiny, because we had a little bit of that in the final shape on the first cinematic, where we're walking through the last city and you see the vendors on the side of the road or the little path. You saw the children running through the streets and stuff like that. Like we don't like the past 10 plus years, we haven't had enough of that in the game. And I think they touched on it a little bit in Homecoming, with Vanilla Destiny 2. But then because that was our complaint in Destiny 1, like we don't interact enough throughout gameplay with people. There's a little bit of it, but not nearly enough. So I'm hoping that they integrate that a lot more this time around, because we were in the light dark saga. We were supposed to be protecting people, but it's like protecting people we rarely ran into. So yeah, I guess the only thing that it makes it weird like this, because it's like is he wearing Ray-Bans, the frame of his glasses? It kind of reminds me of Ray-Bans, or like the Meta glasses that you can get. It reminds me of those. Like he's got the camera in there. That's what it reminds me of. But also weird, he's wearing a hunter. Is that hunter outfit? Hunter gear? It looks like hunter gear. But yeah, I don't know. Just the glasses throws me off. It also reminds me of Clark Kent with that look. And then as far as the new dungeons, I mean, I'm glad they're solo, because I've been kind of doing that lately with going through exotic missions by myself. And then once I get through most of it, but then I run into a problem where I get to the boss and I can't beat the boss by myself. So I have to start over with the team. But when we run through the activity or the mission, I know where I'm going, right? Because a lot of times you'll go into matchmaking, and if you don't know what you're doing on an exotic mission with your team, they just jump out, and run it with somebody else. So at this point, I lean towards running through as much of the mission as I can solo. And then if it's too difficult towards the end, yes, it is a lot of wasted time, but I jump out, start over, and then I end up going through the last mission like 20, 25 minutes or so it took us to get through it, because everybody knew what they were doing. And nobody uses a microphone. So yeah, you really have to jump in knowing what you are doing. This is really cool effect. It's also creepy. I didn't know the 9 were individuals, which obviously can cause problems, because they can get into these squabbles with each other, and then you got civil war type stuff going on, and then we get caught in the middle of that. In terms of what their plan or purpose for us is, I don't know. But we'll see. But yeah, so now I'm curious about where this person comes from. I'm curious about where she comes from. I'm trying to get a picture of her face. Yeah, I don't know where she is from. At first I was thinking, okay, is this the stranger? But no, this is someone totally new. Looking at the gear, It's like a cross between a hunter and a titan, to be honest, because the gear is so bulky, but she's wearing a cloak. So I'm not sure if that means anything. Let's see if I can find. Okay, here's the menu. They have all the ops. I guess the only thing I would prefer with Pinnacles is like when you play through the story campaign, you should be able to get Pinnacle drops by just playing the story. But I think they did mention that you can get to the Pinnacle cap by just playing PvP, which is also helpful. But if you just play solo ops, can you still get to the Pinnacle cap? Which at this point, I guess it would be 400. I'm not sure what the number would be, but that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, they don't, and it doesn't say anything about what your power level is supposed to be. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about power level. So I guess they mentioned tiers, right? You have several difficulty levels for each category. So if you can get just start at the bottom or the easiest tier and then just work your way up to Pinnacle, that would be good. And then Pinnacle Ops, I would say you can still have that, but it's like if you're missing a couple of pieces of Pinnacle gear or weapons, you can target farm it that way. But I'm not sure if this is how they have this system created or. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you can still tell the classes apart. You can still tell everyone apart. So there's that. I like the weapon design because it's a bit more futuristic. But like I say, we're gonna be able to enhance it a lot more than what we can do right now. So again, it just feels like a reset. Like all the weapons we have now, why would we keep them? Now the exotics is gonna be a little bit more difficult to get rid of those, or exchange them out. Replace them, but I think this is definitely going to be a hard reset. So it looks like all the elements are still the same in terms of strand, arc, void, solar, stasis, and I'm assuming we've got another one like dark matter might be something that we can use. But I'll see how that goes. Okay, so this is Crucible Ops. Trials of Osiris is locked. Wow. Like, I know they say they were simplifying the menu, right? But it really is more about where are you in the story when you jump in the game. You know what I mean? Like, where are you? Where's the beginning? Where's the middle? Where's the end of the story, right? And then you can have like an infographic of the side quest, or where you can explore, but just the main beats of it, just if you're a new player jumping in understanding where you are in the story or where you're going, because you know you're starting at the beginning, obviously, but where you need to go or how far do you need to go to catch up with everybody else, you know. And then as the events and whatnot take place, and they can continue to add on to that graphic, the infographic. Customizing, we looked at that. I'm trying to find the weapons, really. Yeah, look how low that number is. And then a little icon in the corner of the thumbnails is interesting. So you'll know what episode or what season this gear piece or this weapon came from. And then they did change the titles for the stats, which is good. Because if you tell a new player intellect, it's like they don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Like you say resilience, a lot of people can say, okay, that sounds like health, right? But if you say discipline, they don't know you're talking about a grenade, right? So they did simplify it in that way, which is good. Let me see if I can go back a little bit more. This says weapons as a character stat. And that used to be where mobility was, because mobility is usually the first one in that line. Increases weapon reload speed and handling, increases weapon damage against minor and major combat. They turned that into a stat. Oh boy. Enhanced benefit. Okay, so if you go over 100, okay, it says activates above stat 100. You go above 100, it says ammo bricks from defeated targets have a chance to contain additional rounds, increases weapon damage against bosses and opposing guardians. Oh man. But see, if you lean into your weapon stat, what is that going to take away from? Interesting. This one says class. Reduces your class ability. Oh. So they detached it, because now what happens with your class ability? Your class ability is combined with a particular stat. So like for Titans, your class ability is tied to your resilience. For Hunters, your class ability is tied to mobility. Warlocks, your class ability is tied to recovery. So with Armor 3.0, they took the class ability and detached it from those and made it its own stat. So now you can just spec into your class ability. If you go over 100, I guess, yeah, activates above 100, you gain an overshield when you use your class ability. So yeah, I guess if you go into GMs, raise dungeons, some of the higher tier activities, you would probably lean into that. But what is that going to take away from? You know? So now it makes me think that you can't boost your weapon damage through your armor pieces on your gear or the armor mods on your gear. Because now you can boost your weapon damage with armor mods on your gear. I think it's your leg armor, with weapon surges. But now they changed that, or they changed it, move it to as its own stat. So I don't know. Maybe they have it has its own stat, but then they also put it on the gear so that you can, I think that's what they did. They gave it its own stat, but you can still put armor mods on your gear. That's going to boost your weapon damage. They just put a tighter number to it now. So, but again, I mean, oh my gosh. Grenade. So we've had this before. They just changed the name from Discipline to Grenade. Let's see if I can move it a little bit more. Okay, so they changed Intellect into Super, which that's what it is. Super Energy plus 154%. And that's only at 88 out of 200. That's crazy. You can double up on any stat then, I think. From 100 to 200, for sure. That's a lot. Move it a little bit more. Okay, and melee. So instead of strength, they changed the name to melee. 146% with 85 points. Well, changing it like this, it kind of makes you feel like you're not wasting points. Because if you're at 101, that extra 1 point doesn't do anything, right? So with this, I feel like if you're at 101, maybe you get like an extra percentage on your melee energy. So that 1 point or that extra 1 point is not wasted now. Well, with the armor 3.0. That would be better. All right, I'm going to move it a little bit more. Armor set bonus. You deal significantly increased kinetic damage to combatant shields. 4-piece. Oh, so if you're wearing the same pieces for your armor set, because you can mix and match your armor pieces. But if you have like a gear set from Gambit and you want to wear 4 or 5 pieces of that gear set at one time, then you probably get some sort of bonuses for that. Now I'm assuming that you can still change the ornaments on the gear so everybody's not looking the same. But it's still wearing, the same set, whether it's from Crucible or Gambit or Strikes or wherever. You're still wearing that whole, 4 or 5 pieces of the same set, but you can still customize the look of it with ornaments. That's what I'm assuming. So there's that. Go a little bit farther. Yep. I can't tell from this screen though. It would be on the screen below this where you customize the look of your armor. I'm assuming we're still going to have ornaments for that. Because if we don't, that'll be really weird. like transmog. That has to still be in the game. Yeah, this one's for Hunter. Interesting. And I think they said the masterwork goes up to 5. Now, in terms of material or currency, I don't know if we still have Glimmer, enhancement cores, ascendant shards, enhancement prisms. I'm not sure if we're still using those materials with Armor 3.0. I didn't see anything like that. Yeah, so like this looks like a weapon surge, I believe, on here. So, and then like I said, it masterworks at 5. Some of it, like this looks kind of new, but these look familiar, these two especially. And then the power is at 310, which is crazy low, but that's okay. Yeah, you got health, melee, grenade, super class abilities. Whoa. Yeah, so now you have to check. You have to choose between the two. And then the weapons on this particular character, they didn't do anything with the weapons stat. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to test our way through that to see what we want to, which stats we want to really push up there. Oh, there it is. And yeah, I did see this back here, Whisper of the Worm. I did notice that during the stream or while they were talking. Yeah, this is the other thing. Look at all of these enhancements. Right now, we can enhance the main perks here, but they also have the magazine can be enhanced. The barrels can be enhanced. And then the masterwork still goes up to 10. So that's interesting. The stats for the weapons look the same. Impact, range, stability, handling, reload, aim assist, zoom, airborne effectiveness, which I feel like is just, I don't know why it's in the game. Ammo generation. I guess that's like, can the ammo regen without reloading? I'm assuming so at this point, but I don't know. But yeah, this is a rapid fire frame, deeper ammo reserves. But yeah, the main thing is just it looks like everything can be enhanced as far as the traits. Barrel, magazine, the intrinsic perk here looks enhanced. So I don't know how much that cost in terms of material or what material we're going to be using to enhance these weapons, but yeah, that's something. I'm gonna see if I can find. See this right here? The cat, the pink. That is definitely from Marathon. Because there was a pink magenta cat. Maybe like a cyber cat in one of the trailers. Okay, and so this is the screenshot of what's going on. Year of Prophecy. They said that the expansions will be available for free. I don't know if it's going to be completely free. Like free to a certain point, because sometimes they'll let you play the first mission and the seasonal activity, but to unlock the season pass with all the rewards on it, you would have to pay into it. But I don't know. They didn't say anything about that this time around. But we got Season Reclamation is going to go from July 15th to December 1st. And then they've got December 2nd is going to start Season Lawless. Yeah. And then in the middle of Reclamation is going to be Ash and Iron on September 9th. In the middle of Lawless is going to be Shadow and Order on March 3rd, 2026. So that's down the road. But yeah, they didn't mention price, and I would say I'm getting a little nervous because they didn't mention price. If it is going to be completely free to play, I can only imagine that the Eververse store is going to be massive, like more than it already is. They're going to be pushing a lot of collab, gear sets and $20 a piece, a lot of bundles that you can purchase, for $27 to $30. More ornaments for exotic weapons, exotic gear pieces, all kinds of stuff, right? Effects, transmat, finishers, emotes, like a bunch of stuff for silver. So that's, that's going to be not the most enjoyable thing, because we love cosmetic stuff, and some of the best gear in the game you can't earn it, you just have to outright buy it. So it's disappointing, but I feel like this is the direction that they're going, because usually they tell you, or there's some number somewhere, oh, they did mention the pre-orders. You can pre-order this. So I'm assuming that if you want the year, it's gonna be $100. They did mention the pre-orders. I forgot about that part. This particular event is different. I think it'll be fun. And then I believe they did say that weapons are going to be, you'll be able to use weapons with this sparrow, which we've been asking for I don't know how long, to actually put weapons on the sparrows. So yeah, it feels like a complete reset. But you see in the screenshot right there is a Vex. So I'm just like, change everything, change the enemies. They're already changing the location, the gear, the weapons, all that stuff. Change the enemies, cause I'm burned out on the Vex and the Fallen, the Cabal. Maybe not so much the Hive, but yeah. Because we just been battling them for well over 10 years now. So You know, we should be able to fight something else at this point. And I will say that the range, like a shooting range, is a brilliant idea. It's been long overdue. This should have been in the game years ago. This should have been in, if not at vanilla D1, at least in vanilla D2, because of how much we test our builds as far as DPS. Like, what's the highest or the best build for high DPS? Tested a lot, and they never put a shooting range in the game. So you have people with YouTube videos all over just making their own. They're making their own videos to test the damage, and they've been doing that for years. So shooting range is very good, very good. Like I say, long overdue. I'm glad it's in the game now, or will be in the game in come mid-July. That super is very familiar. The HUD looks pretty much the same. Trying to find the right one. Okay, there we go. And then as far as the, what they call it, foil, for the weapons, really neat idea. And this particular weapon, like, it's like the magazine in the barrel is not enhanced. The intrinsic perks are not enhanced. So I don't know if this weapon is not finished getting enhanced, or if it doesn't have that ability to be enhanced that high up. Because the masterwork is already 10, so I'm not sure. But it looks very cool. It does. Let me see if there's anything else that I missed before I go. Oh, let me back up a little bit. This is very cool, right? What I'm hoping, because right now, if you want like an emote with lightsabers, you have to buy it outright. It's like $12 to $14, something like that for some of them. So they actually put it in the game so where we can earn these things as rewards from playing the game instead of just going to a reverse store and buying it. Put it in the game. Let us play through it. Earn it as a drop at the end of an activity. I would feel really good about that. So yeah, I haven't bought anything as far as the collabs that they have so far. But it looks really cool, you know. And that shot that they showed, let me see if I can. It looks like Tatooine, if I can find the right screen. Hold on. Yeah, that definitely looks like Tatooine. And you remember it had two suns on the horizon, which I'm not sure how that's not too hot. But yeah, they had two suns. It was just a bunch of dirt, dust, mountains, caverns, a lot of flat, empty space. and then you would come to the cat to cat. I can't remember the name what they called it, but you would go to the bars. And you had so many different characters there, right? So it goes back to my point where I hope that we're able to go to these places and interact with a bunch of different creatures or characters that are more embedded into the gameplay. But I don't know if they're gonna approach it like that. But yes, it looks really good. Really excited about that part of it. But I think this is what, next year? The reveal is September 9th, release is December 25. So Christmas time. Collab with Lucasfilms down there. So yeah. I mean, I thought the Star Wars collab was going to be more brief, but they are going head first, diving into it. So, a lot of the same sound effects, theme music, all that. So that'll be fun. It definitely breaks away from the cycle that we've been in. In terms of story, I don't know how they're going to tie it together with the 9 and discovering what's going on, but it's definitely different. I'll give them that part. And I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that's the Han Solo weapon with the lightsaber. Will we be able to fight with that as a sword? That'll be cool, because you have the sound effect that comes with it. Yeah. As far as the sniper that you get with the pre-order, I saw Acid earlier today use it, because I mean, it looks like he's already bought the pre-order. So he was using it in Crucible, and it's very more so on a controller than mouse and keyboard. It's very, there's a lot of flinch in the weapon if you're playing Crucible. Now PvE, the damage is ridiculous, because he was doing some play testing with it, or damage testing with it. Crazy damage. Not as high as Whisper of the Worm, but it's in the ballpark. So yeah, I didn't get this or use this in Destiny 1, because you probably had to play a dungeon or a raid or something to get it to drop. But yeah, it says you unlock ornaments for Kylo Ren, Darth Vader, that looks like General Grievous, and then was it No Land Beyond, I think is what it's called. You get that looks like an exotic emote, exotic ghost, an emblem. I think that's an emblem. Yeah, so I'm expecting it to cost about $100. I haven't seen the price, but I can check on PSN, and I think it'll probably run about $100. I'll be surprised if it's lower than that. And I think that's it. Yeah, so it's basically my thoughts in a nutshell. I mean, golly, this is it feels like a 3. It feels like D3 for sure, because they're making so many changes and keeping the 2. I feel like there's no need to make a D3 at this point. The power cap number is coming way down. Starting at 100, or I guess maybe you start at 100 or start at 0 and build up from there pretty quickly to 100. But yeah, I feel like our vaults are gonna get totally emptied out, like everything. And man, I hope you guys are not attached. I hope you're not attached to what you've got, because everything's gonna get sunset, like just naturally getting sunset. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully I'll be able to, probably closer to the fall, be able to have more reactions to different pieces of content, and you guys can just leave your comments, your feedback, your thoughts on what's going on in the game. Is interesting. It's interesting. Am I excited? Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what the story is going to be. I'm a story person, you know, because like you can have a lot of cool weapons and your gear looks really good. To do what exactly? You know what I mean? So I have to see the story, where the story's going, and if they, you know, come up with a really good story, really good villain, because now you have to have a villain that replaces the witness. How are things going to change when we're not really focused on light and dark? I'm interested to see how that goes, and if the characters for the 9 are really interesting, then I think that can hold us for a while, right? But I think what they showed us was from what was going out to December 2026, I want to say. So it's going to be between 2 and 3 years of content that I've seen so far now, and I don't know. I mean, naturally the game's going to get bigger. I don't know if they're going to vault the episodes we have now. I'm assuming that they are, because the game would be getting too big, which is why I thought they were going to make a D3. But it sounds like even if they vault the episodes that we're going through now, what they're creating starting in July, it's just going to stay in the game for 2-3 years. And we're not going to have to think about deleted or vaulted content. So there's a good thing with that. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and focus on wrapping up the storyline we have right now. We still have all of May, most of May, June, and then halfway through July to get through whatever it is you want to do right now. I'm less concerned about getting to the Pinnacle Cap at this point, because come mid-July, it's not going to mean anything. Everything's going away unless you really want some high tier weapon or something like that. So you want to play Grandmasters. But again, mid-July, are all those weapons going to be viable in that new, how the game is going to be played, right? So compared to new weapons, new gear, for the gear, I mean, you can transmog it, right? And still bring it over to 3.0 armor. So you can still go out and collect stuff like that. But for the weapons, I just don't think they're going to be of use anymore. We're going to end up naturally switching over to how they've recreated, weapons and perks and things like that. But yeah, I'm optimistically curious, and hopefully the story holds up. I'm not even worried about the quality of the game, like how the game looks. I'm not worried about that part. The games usually look great, but the thing that we have not liked was the cycle that we've been going through. Just here's a seasonal activity, play that 100, 150 times in a 3-month period, 4-month period. And then that goes away, and then you have another seasonal activity that you play ad nauseum for another few months. Just that model. It sounds like they're getting away from that, thank God. And we'll be able to just, as I've said before, have a massive world or worlds and just make it really accessible to explore, right? Make it as big as you need to make it and put a bunch of stuff in there that we can find, right? And that will, consume our time, right? So it feels like every time you play the game, you're discovering something new and you're not on this hamster wheel of playing the same thing over and over and over again. Because after the first 2-3 weeks of playing a seasonal event or activity, it starts getting old and you want to do something else, right? So it sounds like they've heard the community's feedback and are going towards a new model where everything seems more fresh. Now, I'm a little bit nervous about them having a major expansion twice a year instead of once a year, because I feel like the quality can come down of that second expansion for the year. It'll be in danger of the quality coming down. I would rather one expansion a year with excellent quality opposed to 2 expansions a year where the first one's usually really good and then the second one is like, it's not so much. It's not as good. But we'll see how that goes. And like I said, I'll keep, doing some digging and give you guys my take on it. And as I said before, I've been playing the game since The Dark Below. So in Destiny 1, I can't even remember what year that was, the end of 2014, going into 2015, January 2015, something like that, is when I started playing the game. So yeah, I'm glad it's moving forward, and yeah, I'm just, gonna see how everything turns out. So thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you next time. Take care.